Have we gotten it right? Is you prepare the space for your economy, for the welfare of your people. And so there's a lot of the kind of planning that you have for the next stages for every decade of your country is very, very important. The political commitment to the development of Nigeria is very, very important. The choices that leaders make is very, very important. In the decisions that you make, citizens will find themselves in those decisions because of what you have decided on. A lot of segments, we had the Federal Character Commission, for example, is because they want to correct the imbalance in terms of representation in the Federal Character Commission, in the Federal Character in civil service, and so on and so forth. And so when you take decisions, your decisions will be seen. You don't need to say anything to people. The choices of people you place in leadership will tell citizens sense of belonging. When we were young, when you celebrating, the independence, you see children with their flags and they believe in the flag. And that is something that you make children imbibing as they are coming on board. Going into secondary school, you make them to sing the national, not even secondary school, the primary, pre-primary, they are singing the national anthem. You need to make them believe in it. Civic education was at a time removed from the curriculum in Nigeria. Whoever removed it, only God knows. And those things should be investigated. Because as a young person in Nigeria, I was able to read the history of America, the history of every part of the world, the history of Europe, how everyone went through their challenges. You were able to read it. History was in our curriculum. It was removed at one point. And that means there's somebody who doesn't want you to get it right. Who is part of the quality of citizenship? I think is very, very important. What is your quality as a citizen? Are you a sellout? Are you a looter? Are you a liar? Are you upholding her honor and glory? Like you made a promise. We have politicians who swear into, who are sworn in with the pledge of Nigeria. I pledge to Nigeria, my country. And they will either have their hand on the Bible or the Holy Quran. And so, what do they pledge to? Where are the thieves in Nigeria? Who are those who are looting the economy of Nigeria? Are they Christians or Muslims? And so you begin to ask yourself. So if he's not a Christian or he's not a Muslim, then who is the person that is looting Nigeria? What that means is the tribe called Nigeria should be a priority. Patriotic citizenship. And nationality. You should be a nationalist at all times. Once you say, arise, O compatriot, that pronounces us to the single constitution of Nigeria. And some people are playing with constitution, misinterpreting here and there, and then you go into leadership. If you are at the national level, the decisions you make at the national level is not the kind of decision that you make at the state level. We are all in need together. The kind of primitive acquisition of wealth that is going on right now is insanity. It's simply insanity. So would you say Nigerians have done well? Many Nigerians don't have homes. Some of them are booted out of their homes. You have structures that they try to manage and then they are destroyed without anything being given back. The quality of life of a Nigerian at that, during the independence of which, Nigeria has gotten their independence before I was born, but the world that I was born into, they had respect for the sanctity of the human heart. The values of Nigerians then. Many people, when they see Nigerians, they remove their heart. But are they removing their hearts today? Because we have a volume of Nigerians, young Nigerians that are not planned for. And because of that lack of planning, we have a volume of Nigerians who no longer believe that they have any dignity left. And so you have some of them who will steal to eat. If you have almost 100 million Nigerians living below the poverty line, as a government you are still sitting around, the cost of governance has so increased. You have a governor who have SADs, special assistants. They have about, there's a government that they say have like 1,000 special assistants all over the place. That's a huge cost to governance. As a governor, you already have all the commissioners. Why are you having advisors who are now having offices? And it's the same thing even at the federal level. You have ministers who should be your advisors in the different technical things, but you are still having hundreds of special assistants. That's the increased cost of governance. And we are borrowing. We are borrowing money. Nigeria that used to give out money is now borrowing money. And the borrowing has no limitations anymore. And the debt profile is rising. And how do you borrow for a government that you don't know? You are borrowing for your children. You are borrowing for your children's children. And another thing is that the international agencies that are borrowing this money, they tell you to come and take money, and they give you a moratorium for 10 years. If you are the president of Nigeria, the limit for you is 8 years. So if you now borrow and you have moratorium for 10 years, you know you are comfortable about it because you are borrowing now, but someone else will have to pay. But if you don't personalize Nigeria as your own, because if you personalize issues, when you go to borrow money, will you borrow money for your children to come and pay? It's enslavement. So you borrow money that you can pay. And what are you using this money for? If you know you are investing it into something that will produce and also pay back, it's okay. But what you are borrowing, we cannot even see. What you are giving it to others, you are just putting us into enveloping us into a cycle of poverty. The government, the space is shrinking, but we still have the opportunity to talk to our government. That's why I'm talking to you today. We need more listening to the plights of the people. We need to feel it. If not, how do you, under the lockdown of COVID-19, when people are talking of palliative, when governments are giving things to its people, you saw what happened during the palliative issue. People are hungry and you are hoarding things in the warehouses. And then when you know that people are going through the poverty level, you can judge, maybe if you are saying, are we getting it right? You can judge when the government of Muhammadu Buhari came into power. I remember as a woman that rice was going for 8,000 naira. Rice is over 30,000 now. Has my salary changed? Salaries for civil servant was, at the time, 18,000. And we struggled to make it 30. That 18,000 before can give you how many bags of rice? It can give you comfortable 2 bags of rice, and you still have a change. But now, we have 30,000 that cannot even buy a bag of rice. So what hope for Nigeria? I think the government needs to listen to the people. So when we are challenging, we are not against the government, we are holding them accountable for the welfare of Nigerians. Because if you are not able to lift the lives along your path, what's the point? Government is about the welfare of the people. It's about security of the people. It's about the economy. Those are 3 key things that you must hold. And so where are we getting to? If we are celebrating, look at the kind of conflict that we are having now. Up to government, what are they doing? We're having bandits that are kidnapping our children. The issue of conflict is politicized. Whether it is Boko Haram or it is bandits and so on and so forth, nobody has been declared terrorists. You go and kill people anyhow, you are not declared terrorists. And that is why I'm saying that the decision that you take as leaders, we are watching you. It's not that people are fools. Sometimes they get tired, they just leave you there. But we talk because we have the right to talk. It's our right. Because we vote people into power, and we have the power to ask, to demand accountability. And so the government needs to be accountable to the people. There is a huge unemployment that is going on. You have a youth population of more than 62% of the population being young people. And I always say, and I'm never tired of saying that, that is an engine room for development. Your workforce, you are not lacking workforce. If you want to hire 10,000 workmen today in Nigeria, qualified and graduates, you can get them, immediately. And a lot of them, I can tell you, are qualified. We have thousands, millions of Nigerians. We are churning more millions out every day. And when we are looking at even at the graduate level, between secondary school and going into the university, there's a volume of Nigerians that are left behind. There's a volume of young people who are not going through JAMB. And they all need spaces in our lives. A good government is a government that plans for its people, that leaves no one behind, leaves no child behind. Because when you leave a volume of young people behind that have nothing to do from morning to night, you're creating crisis already.
So what you're trying to say, is it safe to also mention that unemployment is actually fueling insecurity?
Unemployment, of course, will fuel insecurity. You have a lot of idle minds that are not doing anything. If you don't talk to them as a government, if you don't talk to them, there are people that will talk to them. We are not saying it's an excuse. And that is why we are saying we can't but be hopeful. This is one of the greatest countries of the world. I always will say that, and I stand proud to be a Nigerian. And I'm happy to be a Nigerian. But our leaders, are they happy to be Nigerians? If you're happy to be a Nigerian, why are your children abroad? Why are you not equipping the schools that brought you on board? Because those in government now, majority of them, nobody went into a private school. The universities of Nigeria, those huge, great universities, were the ones that brought up the leaders of today. And so why can't we go back to that? And I always say that you need to leave the stage better than you met it. Because people left you the stage. That's why you can work on it. How are you leaving it to other people when you have a huge debt that is running around with them? Unemployment and people, many Nigerians, did you hear of Nigerians in the past were no Nigerian commits suicide. But a lot of them now are committing suicide because of the indignity of the human person. What do you do when you are a man, you have no job, you have children to feed, your wife is telling you every day, go get a job, and there are no plans for you? We have so many opportunities. We have the textile industry, for example. The textile industry in Nigeria can clothe Africa and the other parts of the world, the rest of the world. We have our, African dresses, which you should be proud of, which Nigeria can engineer, can anchor very seriously. You are now having atampas that are going to be printed in China.
Even in the international arena.
In the international arena, it's not coming from Nigerian again. But I used to remember, Aswani Market in Lagos, where people come from different parts of Africa to go and shop and patronize the African prints that are made in Nigeria. Proudly so. We need to be proud as Nigerians. So, please, we continue to be as proud Nigerians, but we need to, I think maybe the status quo is being maintained, but to say a lot of improvement in terms of significance, if I want to look at the health sector, for example, I will ask this government, how many hospitals have they built? Over the years, population has quadrupled. What plans in terms of physical infrastructure? What are you doing for Nigeria? If you mean development, for example, you don't talk of roads anymore. That's a bygone. With other countries, roads are not questions anymore. You need the roads. You need electricity. We are told that Kainji Dam can give electricity 24/7 for Nigeria. What of the money that was brought out for the oils, for the power sector? That money went. We haven't seen the money. The light didn't come. And what they did in the end is to privatize. The old NEPA, they privatized it, sold it to themselves. Has it given you more light? The issue of corruption. We need to be able to challenge that. I think corruption is the key enemy to Nigeria. If we can get our leadership and management right, I cannot say we are getting it right now because you have those who have served Nigeria, pensioners. They are all over the place. They are not getting pension. Some people have not gotten their gratuity in the last how many years?
Just like the police.
Just like the police now crying out and say, where are we? You know, one of the things that I love about, the Western world is they honor even their dead. They honor even their dead, not to talk of the living. And that is why they have the welfare funds. They have the social protection in their own area, social welfare, that takes care of people who are not working, not to talk of those who have served them. And that's why if you go into America, they will prefer when you are applying for a job, are you a veteran? Your job is at speed because you gave your life for the country already. But those who serve Nigeria, you can have a leader, a governor who did not pay for 8 years, who did not pay, who had been a governor for 8 years, is getting pension, he's gone into the house of, maybe going to the parliament. They still have so many things that are accrued to them, but in their own states, there's public servants, civil servants have not been paid. Some of them not paid up to 1 year. If you don't pay somebody for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, how do you expect them to function? I think there is a lot of selfishness in the government, in many parts of our governments. There are a few government leaders who are making a difference, and we cherish them for that. And I'm asking and calling for them to stand by the rules they pledged to stand and become patriotic Nigerians, because you are not patriotic if you are stealing. You are not patriotic if you are giving the wrong leadership. You are not patriotic if you are deceiving people. If you are using their money to buy houses. Some people are buying streets. And as long as the many Nigerians walking on the street are not safe, you cannot protect your very own. It's a distortion to the society. We need to claim the children of Nigeria. Our leaders need to claim the children of Nigeria like they are their very own. That's what we woke up to meet, where every child on the street is somebody's child, is everybody's child. But what we are having today is a whole division between the rich and the poor, widening the inequality gap. If I went to school with the children of governors and so on and so forth, and it's a public institution, what is that public institution today? The children of the poor. Who is giving their scholarship? How are they even living? And so there is a little investment. We need to invest in the human capital for our economy. You develop the human capital for your economy. You don't do them a favor. You don't do young people a favor when you give them scholarship to go and study. Those who are qualified, who want to read, you give them scholarship so that they can come and serve your government. And so it's important. The issue of lack of accountability, it's going across, the subnational level. At the local government level, you have the government that is closer to the people. And so we need to pay attention. And that is why when people are vying for election at different levels, I say we need to pay attention to the subnational level. And that is why we ask people to register and vote massively. INEC is providing an opportunity now for people to go through registration. Let's see how we can make a difference in 2023. Let one vote be one, let it count as one vote. Let more sanity come into our elections so that we can bring about relevant changes. From 1960 to now, there are lots and lots of things that have changed. The world has gone high in terms of technology. The world has advanced. At the press of a button now, you should have information on everything and on everybody. And so I will say that some of the changes that we have noticed are being eroded deliberately by people who are not doing right. There are people who don't mean well. Because why would you arrange young people who have no food to eat, you give them food to eat, and then you give them weapons to go and kill? The sin will be on top of your head. And I try to remind, okay, as we are reflecting on the independence, what kind of an ancestor do you want to be? An ancestor who lied? You are sitting and looking at me now. What kind of an ancestor? How do you want a story to be told of you to your grandchild? An ancestor who did what? Who stole? Conscience is a wound. If you steal, the whole generation is being dirtied. You are dirtying the blood of your children. And you are dirtying the society because the things that you do, they say the sins will live after you. And I'm a roll call. Let this independence be a reflection of reclaiming Nigeria. Our leaders need to bring back the Nigeria that gives dignity to every Nigerian. And that's why Nigerians are searching through all sorts of routes, falsifying documents and so on and going out. I'm not saying people should do the wrong things, but you are squeezing the opportunities out of them. And so when you are doing that, you are making them more vulnerable to things that they shouldn't be. It is the government that should be reassuring the young people that they can live a life of dignity. And for ActionAid, we're asking for a life. Our vision is a life where every Nigerian can live a life of dignity, wherever they find themselves, whether you're a woman, whether you're a girl, whether you're a boy, whether you have disability, and wherever you find yourself. That is not happening now. The sanity and sanctity of the girl child is being taken away from her. Is that a Nigerian that we want to celebrate? I celebrate the independence. You say we celebrate. Yes, we celebrate. But if I were a mother of one of the children who is still being held in captivity, will I be celebrating? And it is important that we put it as a personal issue. Every child of a Nigerian is a child of a Nigerian. I was outside the country during the Chibok girls. I will have people who will cry to my office, who are not Nigerians, will cry to my office and say, please, have they found the girls? As I sit here and talk today, as we celebrate this day, more than 100 of those children are still out. Leah Shuaibu, who was taken from her parents, is still out. There are so many children who have been kidnapped from the schools. All the advancements we made in girl child education is being eroded. In many of the communities now, they are even withdrawing the children from schools and marrying them out because they feel let their sanctity or the sanity, because the dignity of the girl child is the dignity of humanity. And so this is being taken from them. Girls are being violated, they are kidnapped and raped, and they are coming out with children. If you were the mother of those children, how would you feel? If you are the father of those children, how would you feel? If you were the brother of that sister, your little sister that you want to protect is taken from you and raped and then comes with pregnancy. And it's okay, it's not okay. I think when we block the size of the issues, then we lose it. There can be politicians. When you say northerners, they always block us up like that. You say you are northerners or you are this and all that. Politicians are politicians. So we cannot block it up as northerners say they don't want to zone any. They are fighting for their selfish interests. If you go for who is talking, they are looking at who is the next person, how much can I get? People are losing it all. From the beginning, they've had an agreement and say, we'll zone to this place, you zone to that place. And then are you talking of the political class? Some of them don't even have ideology. Because how do you switch overnight between one party and the other? It meant that you never had any ideology. You just go where you think you can feed from. A lot of, you say poverty. When you are poor, you don't have clothes. Your problem can be solved when somebody gives you clothes. When you don't have food to eat, someone can put food on your table. But the poverty of sense, when you don't have it, nobody can give it to you. Because when you cluster, poverty, again, I say poverty has no tribe. Poverty doesn't have tribe. It doesn't have religion. Because who is stealing a lot of money now? When it is time for politics, they say, do you know you are from the north? Then the middle belt will say, no, we are not from the north. We are from North Central, or we are from the middle belt. Leave us there, because it's rhetorics that you have been playing. When it is time to say you are from northern Nigeria, they want to group you all because there is advantage to it. When you say you are from the south, when they want to group something together, okay, all of us are from the south, so let's come together. Or you are from the southwest. If you go individually into the politicians, even in the southwest or in the south-south, if you go to them, you find out that politicians are fighting for themselves. They are not fighting for the people. Leadership is such a tough service, a tough sacrifice, that if you actually want to lead, people will beg you to come and lead. Because it's total sacrifice. It's sacrifice of your time, your intellect, your whole self is service. You become a servant to everybody. But instead of you being a servant to everybody here, the people become their servants. And that is what they are looking at. The zoning system fitted them when they wanted to shape things. The rhetorics, you find even among the southern governors and all that, is it the governors that are changing? One is PDP today, another is APC tomorrow, or we are going with the ruling state. Someone who is a politician, a determined politician, you don't go by the division of parties. I have met in the last couple of months, I also met people who will not change their parties, and they are in a minority party. I think it's in Anambra State. Anambra is the one that has held on to, that one party has held on to the governorship. They have not gotten the presidency, but they held on to that. And they are providing leadership to their people. What we are saying is encouraging the other parties. You are not hearing the names of others. Why are you looking at capturing, or are you in a political party because you want to fund alignments and then get some kickbacks and kick fronts and all of that? There is a lot of selfishness in the system. And we are asking them to put Nigeria first. Put Nigeria first. What would you want to be done to you is what you are doing to others. Would you want it so? You deceived everyone to voting for you. You say you are going to zone the presidencies to this place. And then now you said, no, I think because you have the population. If they allow one vote, one count, and that is why we are having problems, citizens of Nigeria will change the status quo, whatever zoning that we are zoning. If you have a party that has no even name, no known name, if they field somebody, you'll find out that maybe that person is the one that Nigerians will choose. But let our votes count. The insurgents, the conflict, I would say, has left behind many Nigerians. We work at the community level. We see millions of children who have been left behind. Their parents are killed. A number of them, no mom, no dad. We have worked to put some of them in some homes, but a lot are roaming the streets. What is the plan of Nigeria? I'm happy that there are some interventions that are coming in from the presidency on the street child. And who is there? The street child should make Nigerians worry. I'm asking them not to give up. I'm asking Nigerians not to give up. But I'm asking the government to do a lot more. There is a lot they can do. We as civil society organizations, we are not government. We can never be government. And that's why when we work, we challenge you. If you don't have, there are times that we have to provide technical assistance because we organize. We go into the communities. We go into some places that the government will even tell us, how did you get here? How did you get to know that these people are having problems? Because we go where the most vulnerable are. But sometimes we create structures that we don't empower. The National Orientation Agency, for example, is an organization that should be in charge of civic education for people to believe in Nigeria. But do they have enough resources to be able to go to the nooks and corners of this country? They are present in the 774 local governments of the country, qualified. But do they have the tools? Can they reach out to the people? What messages do you go out? And so you can have a collaboration of a national orientation agency really covering all of the states, and then working with INEC, You know, so when you have all of that meshed together, there is a lot of information, volume of information in the country. I always say that if the government wants to catch even one person, they will catch that person. We have the DSS. The Nigerian Security Agency is is huge. And there are details in every, not just local government, almost every district, you'll find them. So they have all the information. Nigeria is hurting at 61. Nigeria is hurting. The people need to do the right things. The government need to sit up because we are crumbling. At 61, we can't have a pride of place. And we need to bring that back. So we can't but, life is full of hopes. We can't but be hopeful. From the civil society perspective, we continue to give our best. I lead a squad of patriotic Nigerians, and we walk the talk. And I challenge the leaders of our country to walk the talk, to live right for Nigeria, to stand up for Nigeria. At 61, you should be so matured.